Good afternoon, boys and girls, and to those of you who've been with me now for the last hour and a half, thank you very much for your patience. Thank you very much for tuning in. This is episode 66 of Love at First Scent with me, Persolaise, coming to you today from YouTube. For the benefit of those who are not watching the live broadcast, if you're watching the recording, if I'm referring to previous videos, that will be because today we have done a video on, am I the only one here, says Lynn Smells. I don't think so. Why? What makes you think that? Today we've done a video on Diptyques au Capital, on the new L'Ombre de Merveille from Hermès. We've just done L'Eau à la Rose from Maison Francis Kurkdjian. So for the sake of completeness, I shall link to those videos in the video description for this one. And you will see from the video description what this one is going to be about, but I will just very, very quickly say please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. If you haven't already done so, please give me hearts, thumbs up, likes, etc. Whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, please consider supporting my work on coffee.com. You will find a link to that in the video description below. And please don't forget that we will also be doing, I will be updating the video description with a blotter update to see how the scents that we smell today have developed, because we need to remember that we can't just judge them on first impressions. So I may not be able to do any more videos for a couple of weeks now. I will try and squeeze perhaps one more or two more between now and Sunday, but I can't make any promises. Perhaps even one this evening, or maybe, probably more likely, maybe one tomorrow during the day, but I can't make any promises, so it may have to be that I do one at short notice, so apologies for that. But today we will not actually start by smelling a perfume, because what I wanted to do is bring to your attention a collection of scents. Now, I don't know how many of you out there recognize this packaging, but this is for the brand Buly, B-U-L-Y. I'm pretty sure we've covered one, if not two, of their scents on these videos already. I need to just go on the tablet to make sure that everything is coming through okay. Comments and questions are always welcome. I kept missing the others, says Lynn Smells. What, the videos or the people? There were plenty of people on the last one. Peggy says hello again. Thank you very much for tuning in. Now, you'll find more information about the brand online, but basically Buly is one of these old brands that was fairly recently revived by people. You know how again says Sebastian, you know how people like to take oldish brands, you know, things like Atkinson's being a recent example, and it's these two characters here, Victoire de Taillac and Ramdan Tehami. Sorry to just sort of hold up a picture, you'll probably get a better picture of them if you Google them online. And they decided to revive Buly. They're also the people behind Sir Trudon. Just quietly enjoying the show, says 100. Oh yeah, that's fine. And is it alcohol-free, water-based? Yes, that's the thing with these ones. They are all water-based, which is kind of interesting. As a brand, they have a huge catalogue of all sorts of products that aren't even scented products, combs, brushes, methods of diffusing smells, scents in rooms. I'm pretty sure they also do essential oils and different sort of fragrant materials. Really, really huge catalogue. But what we're talking about in this video is something that they did last year in collaboration with the Louvre in Paris, because apparently what happened, so the story goes, is that the Louvre fancied having Peggy says baby cry. Did you hear that? Oh my word, you must be able to hear everything. I actually thought you wouldn't be able to hear that because it's really quiet. Oh my word. Well, sorry if you heard that. Buly's candles come in this granite cup that is gorgeous, says Aperol Spritz, and Peggy says, well, that was quite far away if you heard that. I'm going to have to tell baby's mum and dad that she's now immortalised in a Persolaise video. She's very sweet though. Maybe one day we'll have to sort of bring her in for a video. But anyway, so the Louvre decided that they wanted to do a sort of pop-up shop and sell some perfumes, and they approached Buly because they thought that that would be a good fit. So in a kind of reverse of what we normally do, I thought I'd read a little bit of the blurb from the press release. A historical first, it says. Officine Universelle Buly has approached some of the world's leading perfumers as part of an exceptional collaboration with the greatest museum in the world. According to them, these highly celebrated French perfumers faced the ultimate challenge to bring alive a masterpiece and create its perfume. This grand project will bring to life the museum's ephemeral boutique, nestled on the lower floor of the inverted pyramid, Allée du Grand Louvre. Officine Universelle Buly is investing in a space with a spectacular ceiling height, etc. And actually, this is a little bit out of date because that pop-up was open from July 2019 to early January 2020. But what's happened now, as far as I've been told, is that these products are available at all Buly counters, and they will be until at least the middle of next year, the middle of 2021. So yes, technically they're limited editions, but they're limited editions with a fairly long run. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 perfumes, each one made by do you get invited to explore the launch, Lynn Smells? There was a press trip. Persolaise was not invited to that one. Apparently it was very, very good because I think the people who went had the Louvre or certain sections of the Louvre all to themselves. Not getting immediate notification. Is anyone else getting that, says Ashfaq? Sorry, I probably won't be able to help with that. I mean, I don't know how immediate the things are coming to you. So the perfumes now come in a fragrance. There is also a scented wax. There are these products, which I'll talk to you about as well. Really, really beautiful scented soap sheets and scented postcards, which I can show you. Somebody said that they saw photos of the. Yeah, I mean, it must have been amazing to go. The perfumes that I've got here, I've got 2 of them. This is based on the, which one is it? This is based on the Nymph with the Scorpion, okay, which is a statue. So Google that if you want to see what it looks like. Bartolini's Nymph with a Scorpion. What's interesting about the perfume is, well, they're all interesting in different ways, is that it's made by Annick Menardo. And of course that is always an interesting proposition, a new Annick Menardo scent. So as you see, it says here in French. How do you say nymph in French? Does it become nymph? Because I kind of think it probably isn't going to be nymph. So the Nymph with the Scorpion, composed by Annick Menardo, and hats off to Buly for actually putting the perfumer's name. So they've got the artist's name, the sculptor's name, and also Annick Menardo's name. Buly sells some very expensive combs, says Ashfaq. Yeah, you're not kidding. They are very, very expensive. These are all water-based, so you are meant to give them a bit of a gentle shake. So, because I suppose, I mean, what would the chemical term be? I guess they're actually an emulsion. Are they an emulsion? I don't know. I have smelt these already. Okay, so this isn't an initial sniff. I've even worn this one. I was really taken with this. It becomes, yeah, it. Lynn Smell says yes. Oh, now see, because things are delayed, I suppose you're maybe saying yes to the fact that it's nymph. I think maybe things are being a bit delayed here, which I can't do anything about. Sorry. These scents were meant to be quite accessible. The Louvre and Buly didn't want anything to be the kind of thing that, you know, people wouldn't be tempted to buy pretty much on an impulse purchase at a museum shop, because I suppose a museum shop is not the kind of place that you would return to. You know, you're not necessarily going to go away and think, oh yes, you know, I'll let this one develop, I'll go back to the Louvre anytime. So they are meant to be instantly likable, they are meant to be quite accessible, and by and large they are. This is a very, very heavy, to my nose, on Cashmeran, you know, musks like Cashmeran, very, very enveloping. The official notes say heliotrope and jasmine. If you don't agitate, then it'd come out in a jet instead of a mist. That's true, actually. Yeah, you're absolutely right, and I've made that mistake as well. It has got that kind of heliotrope, freesia, beautiful sort of spring flowers feel. The jasmine isn't overly indolic. It's all very, very gentle, very delicate, very accessible, very approachable. But it's the musky base that I really liked, and I wore this a couple of times last week, and was very, very taken with it. Not a huge amount to tell you about it, but there is something about the artwork, the sculpture, and it's interesting to kind of think, okay, what would Annick Menardo have been thinking when making this? Nymph with a Scorpion, it says, was created some years before it became one of the highlights of the 1845 exhibition. However, the sculpture is hard to date precisely, combining a subtle analysis of the plasticity of the female body with an extremely delicate work on the perfectly preserved marble. The sculpture is brought to life by the young woman's pure face rendered in the Tuscan style. The scorpion appears clearly on the floor as the naked nymph reaches for the bite on her foot. This gesture, along with her slightly open mouth, are the only signs of pain that Bartolini allowed himself to depict. And I suppose you've got the sort of purity, the cleanliness, the perfection of the marble, but it's the Cashmeran that is the bite. Because Cashmeran, to me, has always got this kind of funky edge to it. It's got something, do I mean vegetal or furry or slightly animalic, and so in that sense it's an interesting representation of the statue, because the florals do come across as quite white, and the musks come across as quite dangerous in this case and quite deadly. So interesting one. The other one, which was really, really quite curious, is based on the painting The Lock, or Le Verrou. Really, really fascinating painting, actually. So look it up if you can. The artist is Fragonard in that case. Or in this case, I should say. This one takes you on a bit of a journey. Do you think it works well with the emulsion base, says Lynn Smells? Well, in all honesty, I don't know if you'd actually detect that much of a difference. I would really, really love to talk to one of the perfumers to find out what the challenge would have been. If I'm lucky enough to interview them one day, I would love to know what the challenges are when it comes to doing something that's water-based, because some materials actually don't like water. They don't go into water very, very easily. This one, now this, The Lock, I should tell you who it's by. The Lock, composed by Delphine Lebeau from IFF. Annick Menardo, of course, is from Simrise. They're all from different houses, by the way. I'll tell you what the other perfumes are and who made them all. Interestingly, only one is made by a man, which is curious. Yeah, this one starts almost with a kind of really, really juvenile, naive, bubblegummy, banana-y inflection, but it definitely gets funkier and earthier and dirtier as it goes along. Which, do Google the painting. You will see how, you'll understand how those sort of contrasts and controversies and ambiguities and potentially even dubious, dangerous aspects of the painting come out in this perfume. Again, really, really interesting representation of the artwork. And this one, officially, the notes are white lily flower. The products on their website look fabulous, says Peggy. As it's water-based, I suppose it's safer for use directly on hair. Yes, and they do say that. Sorry if I missed it. Is there any specific reason for the alcohol not to be used? Honestly, I don't know, except that I wonder if it's something to do with the brand's past. I should check my notes, actually, because I've met one of the co-founders, and I should also say that they call this formulation an eau triple. Okay? There is sometimes an initial clarity of definition with the water base. Yes, I know what you mean. I think you get the whole of the perfume in one hit more than you do with an alcohol-based perfume. And I would like somebody to explain the chemistry of that to me, because, of course, water evaporates at a higher temperature than alcohol. So I would like the sort of chemical... water-based means less longevity, says Tushara. Well, perhaps I'm being really, really dense, but if alcohol needs a lower temperature to evaporate, how come it doesn't actually make perfumes last longer if they're water-based? Do water-based fragrances have a much shorter shelf life? Oh, sorry, you don't mean shelf life. Oh, you do mean shelf life, as in, I'm not sure. Certainly, having worn these two, I didn't sort of think, oh dear, they don't last very long or anything like that at all. Yeah, white lily flower, it says, and musk unite in a bewitching perfume. Personally, I thought the white lily note could have been a bit more full-bodied, a little bit more substantial for something that is meant to convey the idea of lust and carnality. I guess they'll probably use something to circumvent that issue, says Ashfaq. Yeah, probably some sort of stabilizer or something. But really, really interesting. They have got, let's actually go through them all. They've got these really, really gorgeous scented postcards. I've kept them in a notebook to keep them separate. So this is the only one that was done by a man. Jean-Christophe did the something inspired by the Venus de Milo. This, to me, the scent is actually starting to go off a little bit, but when I smelt it, I did immediately think of Tom Ford's Black Orchid, which is not my favourite Tom Ford scent, but there we are. Then there was one done by Dorothée Pio, which is the Conversation in the Park, Thomas Gainsborough's Conversation in the Park. And yeah, I seem to remember that this was, I should read you the notes actually as we go along, because the postcards have faded now, but this one was the one, that's it, peppermint and bergamot. So peppermint and bergamot in an imposing bouquet, it says, of Ottoman roses. Really, really exuberant. That one worked very, very well. We have also got, what else have we got? Oh, we have got the Bather, La Baigneuse, composed by Daniela Andrié. And who's going to say it first? It's a Daniela Andrié perfume. And no, it isn't actually heavy on iris. It's supposed to be a stimulating armful of citronella and orange blossom embellished with patchouli and incense. But yeah, not getting a huge amount there, but there's still nice souvenirs to have. I suppose if you kept them in then there's the Victory of Samothrace by Aliénor Massenet. I'll read you the notes. Oh, somebody said iris. There you go. I suppose longevity would be no different than essential oils used in bath water. Yes, I think so. And this is interesting. The Grande Odalisque, composed by Domitille Michelon-Berthier, and citronella is a mosquito repellent, says Angeline. Well, there you go. Good to take on holiday with you. There's the Lock, and also St. Joseph the Carpenter, composed by Sidonie Lancasseur, which, in terms of instant love, I think was the one that I did. I've got it here. Now, these are great. These are little soap papers, and it came as no surprise. So you know, pardon me if you already know this, but basically you sort of wet this under the tap, and it just becomes some soap that you can wash your hands in. Oh, this was it. It came as no surprise to me to find out that the perfumer Sidonie Lancasseur is at Robertet, because this smells like a homage, this one, the St. Joseph the Carpenter one, like a homage to all the beautiful Robertet materials that went into Michel Almarak's Gucci pour Homme. How many times have we mentioned that perfume on these broadcasts, which then also went into Papyrus Oud from Parle-moi de Parfum. It's meant to be, according to the notes, St. Joseph the Carpenter is supposed to be a deep note of cedarwood infused with verbena, pink pepper and vetiver, but definitely that beautiful incensey amber in there as well. And the Grande Odalisque was really, really grande, I think. That's supposed to be incense and pink pepper enhanced with intensely musky notes. So, let me pick up the tablet here again to make sure I haven't missed any comments. Where are they available, says Lynn Smells? I think only at actual Buly counters. There are a few around the world, quite a few in Japan. The founders are very much into Japan and Japanese aesthetics. The one in the UK is at Selfridges, certainly Selfridges on Oxford Street. I don't know if it's at other branches of Selfridges. There is a boutique in Paris, I think, and also there is their website. I use citronella every night, says Tashara, life in the tropics, so there you go. Just speculation, says Ashfaq. Since water evaporates slower than alcohol, perhaps the lighter molecules will last longer on skin. Yeah, I really want a chemical explanation of this. I've been late for them all, says Rachel. Never mind, you can go back and watch the recording. Tashara says it's available on their website, just check. And Banda says, can you do a review of Guerlain Parure, please? If I could get my hand on a few drops of that, I would love to, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. So, I think Persolaise is going to go off and have a drink of water and see to baby and make sure everything is okay there, which I'm sure it is. There will be blotter updates on these two perfumes a few hours after this broadcast, well, a few hours from now, and also obviously blotter updates of Diptyques Eau Capitale, Hermès, L'Ombre des Merveilles, and Francis Kurkdjian L'Eau à la Rose, which are the perfumes that we did in the 3 videos that we did before this one. So search them out, or I will try to link to them in the video description below. So if I'm not able to do a broadcast between now and Sunday, it will be probably about a fortnight before I see you again. Thanks, love the shoes too, says Lynn Smells. This is a reference to my Instagram stories, okay? But thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much for the interaction. Thank you very much for the comments. Have a great weekend, everyone. Bye, says DB70. Changed Little Devil's nappies. Sorry, Uncle Serge. I see what you did there. Very, very good. Thank you, Mr. P. No, thank you very much for tuning in. Be good, and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye.